Hey guys, it's Mr. Hing here. I hope you're all well. Today, what we're going to be doing is whole numbers and focusing on the section of financial maths. Okay, just remember, not just remember, but just you'll see here that my format is so different from the previous videos of this year. The apps keep giving me hassle, so I keep having to chop and change. But, anyways, let's get on with the lesson. So, guys, what we are doing with question one is we are looking at a hire purchase question. Remember, we will remember this from last year. And yeah, let's just go through the question and how we tackle it together. So the question is the cash price of a bedroom suite is 4,500 rand. Ayanda buys the bedroom suite on a hire purchase agreement instead of paying cash. There is a special deal and no deposit is required. Remember, what does deposit mean? Deposit is an amount that you basically pay up front so that the amount that you are paying off is not as much or as big, right? So then it carries on and says Ayanda pays for the bedroom suite in equal monthly installments over 3 years, and interest is 40% per year and is being charged at simple interest. They actually didn't need to put simple interest here. Why? Because hire purchase is always calculated on simple interest. So let's have a look at our questions. The first one is how much does Ayanda pay in total over 3 years, right? And then the other one is how much does Ayanda pay per month over the 3 years? So, sorry, yeah, let's get straight into it. So 1.1, I just want to get the question in here. How much does Ayanda pay in total? So this is how we are gonna tackle it together in total over 3 years. So 1.1, what we need to do is we need to find out what is 40% of 4,500, because that is how much is being charged per year. So that will be for 1 year. That would be the interest, right? The interest charged for 1 year. So we're going to do that calculation. We'll say 40 over 100, which is 40%, times by 4,500, and that equals 1,800. And remember, this is for 1 year. And then what you got to do is you got to say, okay, well, it's 1,800 for 1 year. So I need to times that by 3 to get it for the 3 years. Okay. And that would give me the interest. Now, I want to show you there is a formula that you can use. Ah, I wish there was an orange. For some reason, I wanted to use orange just now. But let's just have a look here. What you can do, remember, is you can use this formula over here. And it's simple interest is equal to, let me just look here. Sorry, that is a little bit skew. Let me just write it a bit better. So simple interest is equal to PRT over 100. And if you use this formula, this would also give you the correct answer. So you would say 4,500 times by, that's P, remember. R is the rate, so you would say 40 for 40%, and then times by 3 for the amount of years, all over 100. And this actually also gives us 5,400. So if you look at this amount over here, you'll see that it matches this amount over here. But remember, guys, that was not the question. We are almost done. It asked how much does Ayanda pay in total. So we just calculated the interest, and we need to still add the amount that we are taking on hire purchase. So you do that addition, and we get our final amount of 9,900. Let's have a look at 1.2, which is how much does Ayanda pay per month over the 3 years. So obviously, you will first have to do this calculation. You'd probably get a mark for showing out this calculation here. 3 years times 12, so I can get the amount of months. Then you'll take your full amount that you have to pay in total, divided by that amount of months, and this is how much you would pay per month. So she will pay 275 Rand per month. Okay, let's have a look at question two. Question two is regarding simple interest and compound interest. All right, so now we are getting into the more chunkier and longer questions that I've made for us. So let's read the story. It says a car costs 600,000 Rand. probably like a really nice car, or yeah, decent, then it says if I take out a loan of that amount, the 600,000 from Capitec Bank, they will charge me 7% simple interest per annum. That PA stands for per annum, it means per year. So 7% at simple interest per year. And it says the bank agrees to loan the amount over 5 years. Okay, so that's our story. So let's look at the questions. It says 2.1 is how much interest. Please remember, guys, this word is so important because it's not asking for the total amount that I'll have to pay in this question. It's just asking for the interest. Okay, so let's carry on. How much interest must I pay back after the 5 years? So let's have a look here before I read the rest of the questions. I wanted to highlight over here that we have two types of formulas that we can use for simple interest. So we have our formula to calculate the simple interest amount, and then we have another simple interest formula that when we use this answer gives us the amount that we have to pay back in total. So the amount that we borrowed plus the interest is included in this answer if we use this formula. So let's carry on and read the other questions. How much would I pay the bank the bank in total at the end of the 5 years? So in this case, we need to think about adding the interest and the amount that I borrow. Well, why don't we just tackle those two questions for now? So 2.1, how much interest must I pay back after the 5 years? Let's have a look. So in this case, guys, we are going to use the formula, this formula over here. The simple interest equals PRT over 100. Why do I use this one? Because the question is just asking how much interest must I pay back. So I just want to know the interest amount. So if we look at my calculations, the P stands for the amount, the principal amount, which is the amount I borrow, times the rate of that they're charging me, times the amount of years, over 100, and I get my final answer of 210,000 rand. So that is my final answer over there. Right, that's 2.1 done. Well done, guys. Sorry, that sounded a bit sarcastic. Let's carry on. How much would I pay the bank in total at the end of the 5 years? So, what do you think we should do? Obviously, we would need to go and take the amount that I calculated as my interest, which is over here, and add the amount that I'm borrowing. Because when we pay back something in full to the bank, we don't just pay the interest. Obviously, there's an amount that we borrowed. So we have to add the two and we get our final amount over there. All right, let's go ahead and read question 2.3. So it asks how much must be paid each month if I'm required to pay back the loan in equal monthly installments over the 5 years. So what do you think we should do here? The key thing here, guys, is they're asking us to pay back in equal monthly installments. That means we must find out how many months are there in 5 years, and we'll take our total amount and divide it by those amount of months to find out how much we must pay for 1 month. So basically, we say 5 years times 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So it's 5 times 12 equals 60. So there's 60 months in a year. We take, have a look at this, don't lose focus here. We take this amount over here, the amount that I needed to pay back in full, the 810,000 Rand, and we divide it by those 60 months to get the answer of 13,500 Rand, and that is how much I'll pay back, what? Each month. Okay. Right, guys, and then this one would probably be for a few more marks because there's a few calculations incorporated in this question or for the answer. So it says Absa Bank approaches me and would charge me 4% compound interest per annum. Would Absa Bank be a better option if they loan it for a total of 48 months? So guys, there are a few important things that I need to highlight to us. So the first thing, guys, is that the interest that they are charging me is a different type of interest. It is not simple interest anymore, which Capitec was charging me, but it is compound interest. Okay, that let me just write. That is number one. That's the first difference. Difference number two is let me just write number two here. Is the rate that they are charging me. I blocked it off there. Is the rate that they are charging me, let me just circle it there, which is 4%. So in my calculation or my formula, it's not going to be 7% anymore. It's going to be 4%. And then the other thing is that the duration of the loan is shorter. It is 48 months, which I'll show us how to calculate it into years. So it's not 5 years anymore. It's going to be different. So um, there are three different factors that are playing a role in my new calculation. Okay, so number one, I said that it is now compound interest. So that means that my formula that I'm going to use is different. It is a formula raised to the power of n over there. So this is the compound interest formula, and this is what I am going to have to be using over here. That looks a bit neat and ugly. Sorry. I haven't used this app in a while. So this is what I'm saying over here. I said to calculate the total amount owed, this is the compound interest formula. So that is what we're going to be using now. Secondly, 48 months, guys, I need to convert it into years, because when I am calculating this over here, my n, I need to put the amount of years. So I need to calculate the amount of years so that I can plug it into my formula correctly. Okay, and then lastly, I didn't show it to you, but I'll highlight it quickly over here. Look at my interest amount. It is 4%, right? So it's not 5% like the other questions. It is 4%. So without further ado, let's go ahead and calculate. So I'll put my principal amount, 600,000, bracket 1 plus, and then I put my interest rate. Please remember to put it over 100, and then raised to the power of 4 because it's 4 years. Then I get my amount, 701,915, comma 14. Guys, my answer in the calculator was comma 136. But please, when we deal with money, we round off to 2 decimal places. So that's how I round it off. And then basically, guys, what you need to do in the end is you just need to compare how much you would need to pay back between the two banks. So question number 2 over here was how much I needed to pay back for 2.2, was how much I paid back Capitec, and then Absa Bank I needed to pay this much. So obviously, guys, which one would be a better option? You would say Absa Bank would be a better option, as less interest is being charged over that period. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. I try to touch on a few different aspects so that, yeah, in one video, so that we don't have to make so many videos. But in the whole, this is whole numbers financial maths. This was a hire purchase question, and this was simple and compound.